need a protective order? This video is for actual abuse victims. This is basically a rundown of how to obtain a protective order, what the process is, and also keep in mind that every state is different with their laws. If you are in a situation where things have escalated to the point of physical violence, they're threatening your life, or threatening your child's life, or harming your child, or breaking things, throwing things at you, using weapons against you, physical touch, violence, get out immediately, or call 911 as fast as you can. Run to a neighbor, whatever you got to do, call 911, okay? Seriously. Now, there are other ways to also obtain a protective order, or that would count, would be them taking your phone away so you can't call the police or call for help, or hiding your phone, or breaking your phone, or hiding your car keys, things like that, to where they won't let you get away. They're basically holding you hostage. That counts too. Okay, so the incident occurred, alright? Either 911 was called and the police have come out, or you go straight to the magistrate's office. If you can, I personally don't like to get the police involved because they make everything worse. That's just my opinion and experience. However, if you can, I would go straight to the magistrate's office if you can, as soon as possible. You go to the magistrate's office, you walk in, it's open 24 hours a day. The magistrate is basically a person who has the authority, like a judge, to be able to issue warrants or arrests or protective orders, things like that. They have that authority. They're a deputy of the law, but with the authority of a judge, acting as an active magistrate. As soon as you walk inside and you are able to speak to the magistrate, some are on video calls because they do remote, so you have to ring like a doorbell or something like that and wait on them to come on video. But most likely there should be a person there. You basically tell them, I am in fear of my life. This is what happened. And if they made threats, if they touched you, whatever the incident was, you tell them. The magistrate is going to give you a piece of paper to write the incident report on. So you're going to write down on the report, on the piece of paper, with whatever lines that you have. If you got to write small, whatever you got to do to write the entire incident, you write down all the facts, how it started, what they did, what threats they made, what they broke, or what they did, or how they, whatever they did to you to make you in fear of your life, or, you know, feel so threatened that you need a protective order. Now, sometimes, depending on what the victim tells the magistrate as to why they need a protective order, I'm not going to lie, sometimes the magistrate will not issue a protective order. They'll be like, that's happened to me before. Happens to a lot of victims. It's messed up. But, you know, we're working on that in the world of domestic violence. But anyway, let's say the magistrate takes your incident report. What they're going to do, he or she, is they're going to issue an emergency protective order, or what's called an emergency protective order. That's good for, usually, depending on your state, in Virginia, I think it's about 72 hours. Typically, this protective order, the emergency protective order, will expire within just a matter of days. And which means if you want to pursue another protective order, like a permanent protective order, which, hey, if it's that kind of abuse, you should. If you want to pursue another permanent protective order, you basically get the emergency protective order, and before it expires, like let's say you got the protective order on Friday and it expires on Monday, then on Monday you go to the courthouse, you go to the court clerk, and you ask them where you need to file for what's called a preliminary protective order. This is what comes after the emergency protective order. There's 3 of them: emergency and preliminary. They will show you where to go, who to talk to, and basically you go up to the window, you talk to the person, tell them you're pursuing a preliminary order, you have an emergency order. They're going to give you some paperwork to fill out, and then you have to swear in an oath that you are telling the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Most times during this pursuant of a preliminary order. You fill out the paperwork, and then you got to wait to see a judge. The longest I've waited was about 4.5 hours. But you know what? It's worth it. No excuse for abuse, okay? If you got to wait that long, wait that long. But most cases you do see the judge. You tell them the incident. You don't read the incident report. You just show them the report. Tell them what happened. Don't read it. Okay? Tell them what happened out of your mouth, the incident, and why you're pursuing a preliminary, and then a permanent protection order. From there, the judge will rule that they will either award you the preliminary protective order or they won't. And if they do, they're going to set a court date that you and the abuser has to come in front of the judge, and you tell the judge your side and they tell the judge their side. And then the judge from there will either award you a permanent 2-year, typically it's a 2-year protective order, depending on how bad the abuse was. Like, if they knocked you into the hospital and almost on your deathbed, I'm pretty sure they're going to do like a 5 or 10-year protective order. It just depends. But typically it's a 2-year permanent order. So it's emergency, preliminary, and then permanent. Many victims of domestic violence do not pursue past the emergency order. Sometimes when the cops are called, whether, hey, maybe the neighbors heard you screaming, and that's how the cops got called, and then they were the ones who decided to put an emergency protective order, on your abuser for you to protect you, at least for those 72 hours. Then it's up to you to pursue the preliminary and then the permanent. But a lot of victims do not go past the emergency order because they're afraid, or they have a trauma bond, or they feel bad, or they start feeling guilty. Honey, don't feel guilty for someone abusing you. Love yourself. Respect yourself enough to know that you are worthy and you don't deserve that crap. You don't deserve that. There's no excuse for abuse. Enough is enough. Pursue that shit. I'm telling you. Okay? Don't give up on this. It's scary. There's paperwork involved. There's waiting for a judge. There's facing your abuser, But here's the thing, alright? Stay strong. You gotta find strength and willpower within yourself and stand up and be like, you are not going to hurt me anymore. Even if it takes a piece of paper saying that they can't hurt you anymore. Doesn't matter who they are. They could be a family member. They could be a romantic partner. They could be a friend. They can be anybody. Point is, okay, you are too good, too worthy to deal with that crap. Okay? Don't put up with that crap. Do not put up with abuse. Okay? Emergency, preliminary, and permanent order. Go get it. Okay? Pursue it. But that's how you get it. And that's the 3 different stages of protective orders. Stay safe. Follow Project Storm for more.